All right. All right. You looked so beautiful to me. What a memory that was. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to Real Deal Media's 6 years into the sun. 6 years into the sun. I am your host here. 6 years going. Dean Ryan here. Tonight is a very special night, live from Studio B, right here, as we are celebrating 6 years of doing Real Deal Media. Can you believe that? Sometimes it felt like we were just being stagnant, treading water, but it takes 6 years of just tough, true grit skin to continuously to do this. And but it wouldn't be possible without all of you. And tonight we're going to celebrate some time together. We're going to rummage through some of the headlines. We have special guests coming and going. All over the place. It's just going to be a fun night here on our college night here on the Thursday as we are broadcasting. Well, we're back on Facebook for tonight. We're opening up the airways over there where we're not usually broadcasting live because of censorship and because of, well, Mark Zuckerberg. I just don't like him. He doesn't like us, so you know how it is. His face. Have you seen the face? Something's wrong with that. We're also on Dean Ryan TV over there on YouTube, Rumble, and somewhere else. I'm not too sure, but we're about somewhere else. Tonight, yes, we're going to be having a wonderful time with all of you. We're going to reminisce and have just a light evening. It's sweltering hot where I am, if you couldn't tell. But it's a hot night. What can I say? But you know, when I talk about 6 years into the sun, because it is a crazy idea to do this, I wouldn't be here. It wouldn't even be possible to have been here without a man who is really a true general in his own right and a true Marine at that fact. He is so core to the operation. This was a man who turned down the lead role of Rebel Without a Cause all the way back in 1956. He's actually the man who is the true inspiration for Ian Fleming's James Bond. Yeah, that's right. He gave the job to Sean Connery. Can you believe that? Because he was bored. Of course, I'm talking about the one, the only, the great. I just get so emotional sometimes. It's so amazing. The great Jim Fetxer. Everyone, welcome him to the stage. James Fetxer. Jim, it's so good to see you here tonight.
Dean, that looks more like a Dirty Harry 357 than my PPK. So, you know.
Well,
yeah. A glorious 6 years, Dean. I haven't had so much fun. Any other venue, you make it such a delight.
Well, you know, there's a song out there, and it's true. The best part about me is you, Jim, and it wouldn't be possible without you and the incredible amount of viewers we have. And you know, 6 years is Jim. It's just like yesterday. It really is. And you know what? I say this. We're almost still talking about the same people in the news headlines today that we were 6 years ago. That's the weird thing about it.
It is so many of the same issues. Even John Benet Ramsey, Dean, recurrently arises. And you're so right. You're so right. So many very serious issues that endure to this very day. And then a whole host of new ones.
And just to think, Jim, that you were the true inspiration for Ian Fleming and the whole series and how you just gave it to Sean Connery. You just, that's so big of you. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, my days are very busy, Dean, and I thought Sean could handle it. Save me the effort.
It's so generous of you, and I'm just, it's just, I'm baffled, and you know, I shed tears every time. We have so many people. There's some names I haven't seen in a long time. We have Sheila Thompson. God, it's been forever and a day. She says, I hadn't hit the 70 years club when I started watching you, Dean. Yeah, we've all gotten a bit older. Jim finally hit his mid 40s, as you can see. He's he's getting up there, aren't we all? Here's another one. Yes, Hazmat Dr. Jim is right. What kind of doctor? I'm not sure, but the ladies love him. What can I say? Soap opera. It's been one big soap opera. I'd say so. I'd say so for 6 years, and it hasn't stopped, Jim. It hasn't stopped. Well, Jim, as you know, we have a lot of we have a revolving, swinging door of people coming in tonight. Some of your friends, some of our friends of the show, and also some people I met at a truck stop. And one of them, he's here tonight. This is a gentleman who's been very familiar with the matters, and he is here tonight, joining us all the way from deep rooted in the big country of Texas. You know him as Mr. Bishop. We know him as Senor Neil Bishop. That is. Neil, welcome to the show. Welcome to the anniversary.
You know, it's amazing to be here with you and Jim. And I've got to tell you, like, I'm so honored to be a part of this with you guys. And it's been a breath of fresh air. It's so different than your average standard. I mean, podcasts and podcasters are a dime a dozen these days, but there's only one Dean Ryan and Real Deal Media. And what you guys have done has been incredible. And I know that there are big things ahead for you too, Dean. This is going to get bigger. It's going to grow. You've had a ton of hardships, and I've kind of been there, you know, kind of involved in some of that and seeing you go through some things. But man, you've overcome. You're still here. You don't quit. And we're not going to let you quit.
Well, that's so nice of you, and I think you nailed it right on the head. Neil, is I've been through a lot of hardships. I think hardships are my middle name. This Jim, as you know, this year has been quite a challenge for me. We've had our complete failure in our computer system, which I'm here to tell you, tonight is the last night here at Studio B. Starting, I want to say April 1st, if not sooner, but April 1st for certain. You're going to see the immaculate return, Neil and Jim, of World at War at the same time at 10 p.m. Eastern, just like you remember it and loved it. And we're going to have some incredible guests. Am I allowed to say who, Neil, or am I?
Do it.
Do I have to? Okay, I've been waiting. We're going to be welcoming. We're going to be welcoming, I believe we're going to be welcoming Kathy O'Brien to World at War at some point in April.
Yep.
April showers.
If you don't know who she is, you need to look her up. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah. April showers, they call it, which, by the way, I don't need one. I smell great, Neil. So that's going to be in April. And we're going to have a lot of just incredible people when the main show returns. But Neil, you may not have known this. I've been doing this for 6 years with Jim. Can you imagine the world locks down? What is it, about the 18th or the 17th of March of 2020? I am in LA. What I thought was going to be just a normal date for St. Patrick's Day, and I get stuck in LA. I finally see drones out of my window. I have nowhere to go. I'm in Culver City. I'm scared S-less. And I don't know. I thought I was going to die, and I wound up calling Jim. He was the first call I made. You remember that phone call, Jim?
I do, Dean. I actually do. And of course, 2020 was the beginning of the big fake pandemic. To usher in the back, shut down the country. Host of other issues. It was Joe Biden would steal the election later in the year. Trump would be denied. I mean, the evidence was so overwhelming. You have people still in denial to this day. And we had so many shows that were so important right off the bat, Dean. It was stunning.
Neil, you wouldn't believe it. Jim and I, we were going 7 days a week. We were one of probably the first show to emerge from the lockdown and the pandemic. and we just kept going. And I learned from Jim work ethic because I mean we were going. I mean, I have a notebook from 2020 alone, this thick, because we would do a show kind of like what we're going to do here tonight a little bit, where there's three of us. There was another guy whose name shall not be mentioned because I just get sick. But Jim would go and he'd talk about Dr. Fauci and all these things in the news, and he would go to me right away. And there were so many topics I had to keep notes on, Jim, because I couldn't remember it all. And this was 7 days a week for about, God, what was it, 6 months in a row? I mean, it was just insane. But I'm proud to say, Jim and Neil, that a lot of the people we started with in 2020 are still here this very night. And that says a lot. I really do believe that.
Well, if you think about it, Dean, if I can opine for just a second, think about how different the world was 6 years ago. I don't know if anybody of you guys feel like this, but to me, it's such a short time ago, but it feels like a totally different era, a totally different life. When all this started, remember 14 days to slow the spread and all that nonsense that was thrown at us. My assessment of what happened in 2020 is the portals of hell opened up. And what we saw happening was the beginning of the end of an age. And we're still right in the middle of it. That's why it feels so weird. The age that I believe we were living in up to now was the age of deception. And we saw that apex in 2020 and continue to do so with the whole George Floyd psyop, continue to do so now with the war, with these continued, like, just complete psychological manipulation of us. And so we're right in that. And it feels like we're walking in between two different worlds right now. And if any of you are feeling like that, that's a good thing, because you know something's wrong. You're tired of the deception. You want the truth. You want every stone to be uncovered. And we've reached that point now where it's happening, and people are both losing their minds and they're finding themselves at the same time. And so it's a little bit weird, but it's just crazy to think you guys started this show right at that, I believe, was that apex, which was probably going to carry on through 2030. And we're going to see another complete and major change. And that's why we have this little window right now, a kind of a window of opportunity to try to get ourselves, ready spiritually, emotionally, physically for what's coming over the next few years. Because it's going to be fun. It's going to be crazy.
Well, that's one thing too. No matter the difficulties, the hardships of what we're talking about with Jim and myself and the viewers, it's been a blast. It truly has. There's been more great times than other. And, up until 2020, Jim and I, we had been working together for about 5 years off and on. But really, we went hardcore into the WikiLeaks, which here we are, fast forward, how many years later, Jim? 10? And a lot of the stuff we were covering in 16. If we could just turn my volume down a little bit, Jim, on your end, is a lot of that is coming back to fruition. Thank goodness, and that we had our grips on it back then. But there's some things happening in the news. Would you guys like to peer into what's happening around the world? Okay,
absolutely.
I think
so.
so.
Some of it pretty stunning stuff, Dean.
Oh, and we have so many people who are commenting. We have Tess all the way from Canada. Hello to you. Thank you for being here. It's so good to celebrate with all of you. And Jim, I swear I was not expecting Neil tonight. He showed up and he scared me. I said, "Doesn't anyone knock anymore?" I mean, he just spawned from the ground. It was so good to see. It's so good. Here's something too. Let me address this. Seth Black says, "Shout out to Tim McCloud, Mass Short." Yeah. Also, I do want to say we've lost over the course of time. Especially, we lost 2 Real Deal Media castmates last year. One in August and in October. That's Matthew Short. We lost, and we lost Brandon Solo, and we lost Tim Clown in January of 2022. So when I say this network has been through things I don't think any other network or show has been through, I truly mean that. We've also lost, sadly, 9 very close viewers over the course of just a handful of years, maybe 3. We've lost a lot of people, and that weighs heavy on my heart a lot because for some reason this place is targeted. I can't understand it. So I just want to mention the people we've lost. We wouldn't be here without them as well. So definitely for that. Okay. Yes, and Miss Ivy as well. We lost her. Okay, so let's just let's talk about a few things that are happening. And Neil's got his. We have the Neil fan club here. See, everywhere Neil goes, Jim, it's like, oh man, he could be on a. We have yeah. If Neil was in a high speed or low speed pursuit, he'd have people on the freeway overpass just say, "Go, Neil." Okay, so there's that. Here's what's happening, Jim, Neil. This is something. Now, get this. Let me tell you about this. This is pretty wild stuff here as we make our way forward. And well, now, despite everything happening in the news, despite the war, well, there's still room for subpoenas. Did you know subpoena coladas are the thing? Not just for Dancing in the Rain in this case. Well, get this now. James Comey is now subpoenaed in alleged, quote, grand conspiracy against President Donald Trump. Well, a little too late, maybe? Let's find out what it's all about here. Well, now former FBI director, James Comey, the man who's almost 7 feet tall, has been subpoenaed in a wide-ranging grand conspiracy against ex-officials who investigated and prosecuted Donald Trump. Two sources with knowledge of the situation that's slightly a bit more familiar with the matter. Well, they're saying why this matters. The investigation has produced more than 130 subpoenas since cranking up last year, and targets top officials who worked under former President Obama and Biden. Now, here's some of the officials on the list who made the invite. Officials, including Comey, have all decried investigation a political persecution. We're talking about Comey. We're talking about the people involved with the Steele dossier, which, by the way, that means little Marco Rubio too. Yeah, he's the main man in the beginning. And now you also have Theo Ratcliffe, referred Comey and former CIA director and the creator of Osama bin Laden himself, or excuse me, Barack Obama himself, James Comey, John Brennan. I have no glasses tonight. I can't see. So this is a huge leap forward. Many who are familiar with the matter are saying. And will it make any dent into the situation? Let's ask the guys about it. Jim, I'm going to go to you first, and then I'm going to refer to Neil. But Jim, what say you on the matter here? Because is it too little, too late? Is the question.
Oh yeah, absolutely too little, too late. No question about it. We all know the Steele dossier nonsense, ridiculous. Trump hiring prostitutes to pee on a bed that Brock and Michelle and I mean, it was a stupid story from the beginning, and they paid big bucks to fabricate this rubbish. It was nonsensical then, nonsensical today. I don't mind, as a matter of formality, tying it off with a bow and making it a package. I mean, that's good enough. But it's just one of many abusive suits or claims that are brought against Donald Trump in a time when it looked like he was going to do the country a whole lot of good, and people didn't like it. And they made him pay big time. Democrat conspiracy indeed, big time.
Yes, it is, Neil. Speaking of big time, a lot of people who are anticipating a wide range of sweeps and a wave of Democrats coming in the midterms onward. They're saying that impeachment is just a small taste of what's coming to the Donald's way, that they're going to go for criminal investigations, even war crimes. So can the case be made that maybe it's too little too late, but they better do something while they still have the bully pulpit? Isn't this one of the things they can do while Tulsi's still in she's still in the cabinet? What say you, Neil, Mr. Neil Bishop?
Yeah, I think there's both good news and bad news in this regard. The good news is that Republicans are going to lose the midterms. The bad news is that Democrats are going to win the midterms. And so it's a lose-lose, win-lose, lose-lose situation. It's a win-win for the deep state. It's a lose-lose for all of us peasants. And I hate to do this, you guys, but unless Trump pulls some sort of magical Trump card over the next few months, he's part of the deep state at this point. In my assessment, I just can't get around it. There's just too much with this whole war in Iran, which everyone's already sick of. 14 days to stop the spread has turned into 14 days of pain for so much gain, or whatever it is that the new fake media, that's now the conservative media, is talking about. We've gone from being attacked by the left-wing satanic loonies to the right-wing satanic loonies. And it seems to me to be two wings of the same bird. I know we've said that before, but I think we're living that now and seeing it. And so unless Trump pulls some sort of, amazing miracle cue card that none of us saw coming, he's going to go down in history as another deep state president like Bush and Obama and Clinton. Unfortunately, I hate to say that. It breaks my heart because I want Trump 1.0 back, and Trump 2.0 has been extremely disappointing. But I've said from the beginning, Dean, you heard me say this. I may have said it first here with you, that there are two Trumps. And I saw that vision back in 2023, I believe it was, that there are two Trumps. I saw it in a dream and had some correspondence with both of them. And I think that bad Trump, whatever that is, 2.0 right now, is winning this, this war between good Trump and bad Trump. And somebody said something interesting as I wrap up this thought recently, and that's that there is some evidence out there that Trump's family, specifically Barron, was threatened with his life. And, hence we have now the Epstein list basically gone off of Trump's radar, and Iran now on the radar, and more wars coming. We had Venezuela, we've got Iran, we've got Cuba coming, because Trump was threatened, not himself necessarily, but his family. And that's an interesting thought. And it makes you think that Trump's doing this now to try to sort of curb that threat. And maybe he's got something in his back pocket. I think there's like a 1% chance of that, and a 99% chance that it's just he's sold us out, and we're going to have to figure out how to deal with that now.
Well, let me just get this. Are you telling me that, and this would make perfect sense, that Israel, people behind Trump, because he's inundated with them, potentially, or allegedly, I should say, threatened the life of his closest family members, including his youngest son? Is that correct?
Yeah, there's chatter of that. That's what has happened, and that's what we saw, especially starting with the Epstein reversal that Trump did. That's the reason why we saw it.
Interesting.
I'm not saying it's a fact, but it's out there, allegedly. Put it that way.
Very, very interesting. Would it happen to be any of these two guys, would it? No? Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Sorry to show that. That was an accident. Anyways, moving on. Jim, I'm actually floored. I don't know what to say to that. Okay, so
let me add.
Oh, please, go ahead. Go ahead.
Neil's basically right, but it's because the Zionists control both sides of the aisle in Congress. AIPAC has exerted this powerful exercise. Epstein has the goods on so many. What we have had released in the Epstein files is trivial compared to what we have not seen, which is a house of horrors. It involves torture, child sacrifice, not just murder, but cannibalism. It's all there. And once they get these figures on in video or on photographs, they're utterly under their control and will do anything to suppress it. Now, just before coming in, I was shocked. Trump is talking about nuking Iran. They're going to falsely claim that Iran is using some kind of biological or chemical weapons. It's completely fabricated. But Trump is so boxed in now. I'm sorry to say the man is absolutely desperate. I think he's no longer cognitively competent. And I'm fearful that this might actually come to pass. Sad to say.
Jim, that was kind of my thesis of what I see coming of the Israel's going to make them do nukes. But this is quite an interesting observation from Rebel Mama over there on Rumble. She said the following: "Remember when Barron suddenly moved back home from school? I didn't know that happened. Thank you for telling me that." Also, we have a message for Neil from Hazmat, who says, "Don't eat the truck stop sushi." Okay, I thought you might want to know that.
Good advice. Ooh,
let me tell you, that's some sound advice, Neil, and I know from personal experience.
Wow.
Okay, so there's that. Now, speaking of that, let me tell you about this. This is also interesting. Speaking of cognitive complications in the mental state, well, this is some weird stuff happening. Trump was meeting with Japan. Now, if you follow Japan, Japan's having a lot of problems lately. And I don't mean just the earthquakes or the truck stop sushi for that fact. Well, get this now. Trump cracks an awkward Pearl Harbor joke in front of the Japanese prime minister. And what he said, I won't play it, but I'll tell you what he said. He said, "Who knows better about surprises than Japan?" I mean, that is so bad.
Ouch.
That is so bad. That is so bad. I can't even. I would hate to have been there when that was said. In reference to Pearl Harbor, in case you don't know, here's how it went. Well, Trump was again gloating and boasting about the surprise attack on Iran. He said, "Quote: We didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted a surprise. Who knows better about surprises than Japan? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor?" the president said to Takakichi, who sat next to him. Oh, God, that is so embarrassing. Oh, God, man. I mean, that's even worse than having your fly down, when you're meeting people. That is how bad that is. And speaking of which, okay, I'm good. Okay, so that's what happened. Speaking of cognitive, now, what about this now? You might have heard about all the hubbub about Joe Kent, the former counterterrorism analyst and commander who retired and resigned yesterday, but not without a full frontal letter to Donald Trump himself that he posted. Well, now FBI is bracing for blowback in Joe Kent's investigation. That's right. They're investigating a guy who's trying to quit. And they're trying to spread a fake narrative that he's a leaker. He's a leaker. Let me tell you a bit more about it. Well, that's right. Kash Patel, a man who looks like he's been taken hostage at gunpoint, is looking to declassify information related to material allegedly leaked by former official Joe Kent. I'd say I can't believe it, but with the past 2 years, yeah, I can believe it. Well, now that's right. FBI Director Kash Patel has now privately indicated a desire to make public as much information as possible about material allegedly leaked by Joe Kent, who resigned earlier this week, the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, according to a law enforcement who is familiar with the source. Well, Patel believes that declassification could head off accusations that timing of the investigation into Kent makes it appear as if the administration is retaliating against him for quitting his post and publicly breaking with the White House over the war in Iran, a source said. Now, the FBI investigation allegedly leaking of classified information by Mr. Kent, according to two government officials who, yes, are familiar with something. Once the investigation is complete, the findings would be sent to the DOJ, the Department of Do Nothing, which would decide whether to file criminal charges on behalf of Israel or not. And I'm going to go to you, Neil, because, Neil, this goes further. I watched, and I know you did too as well, Jim. I watched his interview with Tucker Carlson, some good segments, and it was amazing what he validated. Neil, I'll go to you. Is he said that no matter the intelligence we had going into the Iranian war, it was negated and null and void, and the administration was taking the Israeli intelligence. So is this really a retaliatory kind of investigation, or is it just a coincidence? I guess the question is, Neil, and then we'll go to you, Jim.
Yeah, well, think about what's happening right now, not just with Joe Kent, who's being investigated and potentially under criminal investigation and possible criminal charges by the FBI. And then you have Tucker Carlson also, who was under surveillance, unbeknownst to him, by the CIA, who was tapping his phone calls and his messages. So you have the CIA and the FBI fully investigating and potentially criminally charging good Americans who are asking questions, who are questioning, who both happen to be questioning this war with Iran. Both Tucker and Joe Kent have both said this is Israel's war, and they're both under investigation because they have a voice. That's why. And they're under investigation by two of the most corrupt agencies that this world knows, our own FBI and our own CIA. It's incredible what's happening. So, yes, Joe Kent's onto something. There are those that are saying that Joe Kent is sort of standing in the way of this, deep plan that Trump has to completely obliterate the Middle East and let them fight it out, Iran and Israel, that is, and let them fight it out. I don't see it that way. I still think that Trump got suckered into this. Joe Kent is now a voice who is he's a prominent voice, and he's a person that people can trust because he's an insider who's now left because he doesn't agree with this. And so, of course, the three-letter agencies are going to swoop in and try to take him out, take him down, whatever. Same thing they're doing to Tucker. And I will note, as I turn it over to you and Jim again, that we have a government who is more focused on taking out American citizens who are questioning the war that's going on now than we do, than we have a government who's focused on taking out child sacrificing, child pedophilia, child eating criminals. And it's like, people, open your eyes. I mean, can you see what's going on yet?
That is a profound claim, Jim. We have law enforcement sources who are now saying that FBI agents had determined that Joe Kent shared secret government information. Get this, not with Putin, even worse, with disaffected MAGA media figures, one being Tucker Carlson. Jim, I heard that and I said, arrest him right away. How dare he shares anything with Tucker Carlson? But that is the grounds for investigation. What say you, Jim, on the matter?
Yeah, when it comes to the war or something that Trump finds embarrassing, if the truth comes out, you're in deep trouble with this administration. We're seeing signs of totalitarian suppression, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, sort of thing we've associated in the past with the worst eras of the Soviet Union, even under Joe Stalin. This guy obviously is impeccable. He had like 11 tours. He was in the most important position in government, arguably, this unit on counterterrorism. And he makes a simple, straightforward statement that Trump was misled, that this was an Israeli op, that he doesn't believe we should be going to war for Israel, all of which is provably true. And what do we have? This reaction now, trying to censor and diminish him. Trump himself said, I always thought the guy was kind of weak on national security. Well, Donald, he was your counterterrorism guy. How could you have put him in that position if you thought he was weak on national security? Trump is making an idiot of himself. I mean, he is making so many contradictory claims. He's also said he's not sending troops to Iran, but I have a report. We got 2,500 Marines who've already landed in the vicinity in anticipation. And we've got now a CEO out of Israel is saying anyone who says that Israel led the U.S. into the war with Iraq, with Iran is committing anti-Semitism. They don't get tired of playing these worn-out cards, but the public has seen through it. We're going to bring an end to this sooner than later.
Jim, let me ask you this: what is that going to? What's that going to look like? Marines going into Iran? What would be the starting point of that? What would be the objective to that outside of blood sacrifice?
Trump didn't understand anything about Iran from the beginning. He thought if we surrounded Iran with a lot of forces, which he kept sending over, they'd capitulate. It was absurd. Iran is a very proud nation with an ancient history, go back 10 times as old. 2,500 years minimally.
Yeah.
They have a history of courage. The legends of small groups of Persians meeting massive armies and fighting valiantly and giving their lives in martyrdoms of a legion. This is a nation who are willing to die for their beliefs as Shia Muslims. They are never going to surrender. You could kill them to the last Iranian and it'd still be fighting valiantly. If there's anything they've been preparing for 30 years, it's to defend the Strait of Hormuz. And Trump thinks he can do something with it. Those guys marching in are going to come back in flag-draped coffins, I guarantee.
That's something very different. We even have people that say the following. He even looks different. Thank you, Tess. I could not agree more. I've been saying that for a long time. That goes into Neil's thesis of a good Trump and a bad one. We also have Sheila Thompson saying the following. I was just going to say a good and bad Trump. How does that happen when Trump is president? Does his staff even know? Let's go to good Neil. Neil, you're I've been saying this too real quick. Jim.
Let me add one point. Susie Wiles, who is Donald Trump's chief of staff, ran the campaign for Bibi Netanyahu for re-election in Israel. That's how bad it is. You got one of Netanyahu's most trusted parties as Trump's chief of staff. And then you got the role of Jared Kushner and Witkoff and all that, real estate guys who are avid Zionists. They are selling out America. They didn't want anything like a resolution. I mean, look at it this way. The Ayatollah had issued a fatwa, prohibition against Iran gaining nuclear weapons. He was a person who could guarantee, if anyone could guarantee Iran would never have nukes. And what was the Israeli response? They killed him right off the bat. It had nothing to do with nukes. It had to do with Israel controlling the Middle East and using American forces to achieve that end.
And this is what I'm talking about, everybody. I mean, look at this. Since when does Donald Trump have brown eyes? And look how his teeth changed again. If you look at the bottom, they're usually looking like brand new veneers, not in this case. So it goes into Neil, this kind of plays into what I've been saying for a long time. I'm not sure the real Donald Trump is even here with us today. The man has been different to me since 2020, since he left. It hasn't been the same person. I was told back in 2020, by 2022, they would be in full control of him. Imagine that. A CIA asset told me that. So, Neil, I think you're really onto something. That seems to be the bad Trump.
At the very least, I mean, we all know that most of these world rulers have body doubles and things like that. And that's for a lot of reasons. Some may not be nefarious reasons, but there are body doubles. But when I speak of two Trumps, I'm really speaking more on a spiritual level. It's sort of like Judas. You know, there was a good Judas. You know, Judas unfortunately got the bad rap, which, well, I should say unfortunately. He chose that. So Judas had to make a conscious decision to let Satan in and control him. He had to make that decision to do that. Judas wasn't always bad. He wasn't just a bad guy and evil from the beginning. He wanted good things. He was an Israel first guy, we might say. He was a nationalist.
Ooh.
And so, but there was
he was a mega.
Yeah, sort of his time. And then when he was confronted with a choice, I either have to, do the good thing, the right thing, or I need to let Satan come in and kind of take over and do that. And so Judas did. So I think that we're dealing with a very spiritual battle here. And I think that whatever Trump is, whatever the entity is, that, it could be a different person. I don't know. But whatever that entity is that we're seeing as Trump is being controlled. And Jim hit the nail on the head. I mean, we all know, physically speaking, what nation and who is controlling him and who has him under their thumb. But also there's something about Trump that he is a nationalist. He does represent what many of us believe, that we want America back. We want to defend our borders. We don't want to go overseas. We don't want wars. We are nationalists. But he's also somebody that can be, and has proven that he can be, controlled. And we don't know exactly why, but I think there's probably very specific reasons why he's controlled. And maybe he was taken out and maybe he was replaced, all that stuff. I don't want to say for a matter of fact, but what we see as Trump now, I believe that is bad Trump, and it doesn't show any signs to me of getting better. By the way, I'll just throw you for a loop here. Word has it that the government has bought aliens.gov. So look for that website coming to a city near you. Maybe there's going to be a psyop of some sort coming this year. I tell you what, guys, it's a guarantee. Something's coming. I don't know if it's the aliens or whatever. Something's coming because Trump's got to try to get out of this mess that he's in, and so they're going to plan.
God, what a cliffhanger to leave us on before break. That means I got to get aliens.info before that's gone next.
Better buy it. And Dave, I'm gonna have to bounce, just so you know. I'm gonna have to bounce after the segment. But I did really want to jump in here and just congratulate you and Jim and the fine work that you guys have been doing the last 6 years. Truly incredible.
Oh, yes. Yes, thank you for that. As I'm here at the Daytona 500, Neil, it's been a pleasure for you, for us, and you maybe, to have you on the, season 6 here almost. We fully anticipate you coming back for the April account and in doing incredible shows together with you and I and you and Jim and all of us together. Thank you for being here and part of history.
Appreciate you guys.
Neil, Neil, you were simply excellent. I agreed with every point you made. You were splendid.
Awesome.
Yes, he is the good Neil. The good Neil. Okay, we'll be back after this break, everybody, and say goodbye to the good Neil. All right, we'll be right back after this. The good Neil. Don't you love that? I sure do.
Johnny, you can never know how much do you want it and make it now. Look at a condenser, she's in like a sensor. Listen to a can on soup, some train to find out. No one's holding down. Needs to find a way of what you want to say. Mama brought to mother. My friend said I would take you home. Sit in the corner for the moon. He lives on the wall. Nobody can see him. Nobody can. Nobody can ever hear me call. Oh, no. My friend said, take you home. Sit in the corner of the mountain. He lives on the wall. Nobody can see him. Nobody can ever hear me call.
Okay, welcome back to Real Deal Media's 6 years into the sun, our 6-year anniversary, and you can join the convo. And you want to join? That wasn't supposed to happen. Well, I swear this will be all corrected. You want to join the convo here and come up and join Jim and myself? Feel free to do so. Just incredible. Jim, what a talent Neil Bishop has really proved himself to be here in front of this effective audience in a very short amount of time, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, he has excellent command of language, and he's making points so clearly, crystal clear, and right on target. I'm very, very impressed. I'd really like having him here tonight.
Absolutely. He's so good. I'm almost jealous of him. That's how good he is. And I hope he heard that. Okay, so we'll have him back as the time comes, and we're fully back in full glory. Okay, so if you want to join the convo and tell us your thoughts of what you think is happening in the world, and also maybe tell us your favorite memory, something we can all kind of not eulogize on, but commensurate. Favorite memory over the 6 years. I certainly have a few. One of my favorites is when Jim and I did the Halloween show. We were the tag team wrestling champs. Remember that, Jim? We had the do-rags, we had the bandanas on. That was certainly one of my favorites. Here it is. Okay, feel free to join the convo. We have, and of course, we wouldn't be here too without our night owls, our members who have, and of course, all the viewers, but the members who have kept things afloat through the hard times, the hardships, the buffoonery, the sabotage, everything that I didn't think was possible humanly. When I, Jim, when I took broadcast journalism in college, I'm about 12 units from graduating that. Nothing that we're enduring today remotely was taught to me or any of my classmates at that time, all those years ago. This is something today, if you want to be in broadcast, television, radio, TV, journalist, I don't even know how you would teach a course on what you have to endure and put up with in this climate. It is warfare, straight up warfare. So anyways, you could do that at your leisure. So there's that one. Here's Jim. Here's some. To wrap it up, I wanted to ask you this, and then I have some news to share with you. But we're hearing a lot about little Marco Rubio, the little secretary that could, as being a potential 2028 guy. I got to ask you, Jim, where do we see JD Vance in all of this? Like, I know Tulsi's going to resign. I think she just wants to get all these subpoenas and indictments out first, so that could be on her record once she leaves. I understand that. It's all timing. But what position does JD Vance find himself in? Because that is a rock and a hard place, if you know what I mean.
Well, he's been trying to separate himself from Trump over the Iran war, which is going to turn out to be the greatest catastrophe in American history. It was a blunder that was easily foreseeable. It wasn't going to work. Trump allowed his foreign entity to manipulate him into taking an action that was utterly contrary to the interests of the American people. It's going to lead to the collapse of the petrodollar, which after Nixon took us off the gold standard, meant the viability of the dollar depended on the Gulf Coast countries demanding that transactions in oil be done in the US dollar, in return for which we were going to provide them protection, security guarantees. What turns out our promises came to nothing. Saudi Arabia has even declared they betrayed us, meaning we, the United States, betrayed us. They were only there to protect Israel. They've got it absolutely right. With the collapse of the petrodollar, the United States currency is going to become insignificant. Europe is pivoting toward Russia because Russia has all the oil. They realize the Nord Stream was a wonderful, brilliant idea, and they're going to lose enthusiasm for the Ukraine war and even for NATO. So what we're seeing is a huge rearrangement of international geopolitics. Russia, Iran, and China are going to come out on the good side. The U.S. and Israel are going to go down big time, Dean, and we're all going to pay for it.
Well, speaking of going down, it's a great segue to something that just happened. Jim, you might want to sit down for this one. I don't know how to tell you, but ABC, American Broadcasting Company, has now officially canceled The Bachelorette. I know that was a big part of your weekly schedule, mine as well. And Jim, this is a big deal. Apparently, this happened in the wake of one of their winners, apparently named Taylor Frankie Paul, one of those three, who apparently threw a chair at somebody. I don't even know what it is, Jim, but you want to talk about end of an era. The Bachelorette and the Bachelor, Jim, I guess guys like us will never get to do that audition for that wonderful show. It's over, isn't it?
Okay. Well, I haven't been a bachelor for quite a while, Dean, so I didn't anticipate being a contestant. But yes. What a great loss in terms of the quality of American television today. How typical. You would only cry bigger crocodile tears if you heard The View would no longer be on the air.
Don't even scare me with that one, Jim. But that's right. But yes, we were going to be replacements. Also, Jim, that's not all. I have more unfortunate news. This is just coming down the pikeway now. 86-year-old Chuck Norris has now been hospitalized in Hawaii after a mystery medical emergency, which I thought he might have heard the bad news about the Bachelorette and just collapsed like we all did. Well, not in this case. Apparently, legendary action star Chuck Norris has been admitted to the hospital over there in Hawaii following a sudden medical emergency. Incident occurred just within the past couple of hours on the island of Kauai, prompting the 86-year-old star to seek medical attention. Details about the emergency remain unclear, but it is reported that Norris is in good spirits despite the situation. Well, there you have it. 86 years young. Jim, he's older than you are. That is something.
Yes, Dean, I hope he didn't take the vax because it can explain so many maladies human beings and other living things are suffering today.
Yeah, let's hope that didn't happen out there. But yeah, he's still going strong, and we wish him a full, speedy recovery on that front. So that's how that happens. And then finally, a lot of talk is what's happening in the South China Sea. Well, I can now report to you, this is kind of uplifting, Jim, that China will not invade Taiwan in 2027 season. Which, Jim, that's kind of good news, is it not? I mean, does that mean the year after, or are they just enjoying watching the U.S. get our ass kicked? How do you see that?
China takes a long view, Dean. They know Taiwan is theirs. Whether it's this year, 10 years, 100 years, doesn't matter to them. They play the long game, but Iran means a great deal to them. They got this Belt and Road Initiative that's going to bring commerce from China all the way to Europe by way of Iran. China will not allow Iran to fall, nor will Russia. Anyone who thinks that those great powers are going to let bad things happen to Iran is sorely mistaken. And the reports I'm getting is Trump could nuke Iran as early as tomorrow, Dean. I hate to tell you, but if the American military don't step up and halt this, we could be in a very bad way as early as tomorrow, not just today.
Jim, I think that's exactly what's going to have to happen, because he's out of his damn mind, even if it's through blackmail. If anyone has heard the Joe Kent interview with Tucker Carlson, he's talking just that, how stunned the people within his apparatus are when they have all this incredible intelligence, some say the best in the world, and they hand it over to the president and his team, and they're just negating it and just eating up like Pac-Man all of the Israeli Mossad intel. I mean, at what point do the great people of the military have to step in and stop this psychotic administration from nuking the beautiful people of Persia for what? For nothing, for a hiccup. That's so true, Jim. And what kind of charge would there be if he does that? Because that's like a war crime, is it not? I mean, more than that.
Dean, I already have a report that the International Criminal Court has issued warrants for Trump, Hegseth, and Netanyahu for war crimes, genocide, crimes against humanity. Now, I doubt that that's real, because we would have heard about the trial that would lead to the warrants and indictments, but it's deserved. It might be true. I'm going to seek verification, but it is the future. Donald Trump doesn't understand Constitution. He doesn't understand his responsibility at present to see that the laws of the United States are faithfully enforced and to adhere to treaties into which the United States has entered. We're under the Constitution, treaties such as with the United Nations. The United Nations Charter have the same status under the Constitution as the Constitution itself. He has violated all those laws. There was no imminent threat. He's initiated a war, which is the most profound act of aggression and hostility, the greatest crime against humanity of them all. He has done it, and he's done it because he allowed himself to be manipulated by Netanyahu to promote the interests of Israel, putting Israel first rather than America.
Well, Jim, this would be another great crime against humanity if I didn't take this new caller we have. We have someone who's calling in. Are you okay for a call? Here we go here.
Sure.
Okay, here we go. We have Margaret all the way from South Florida, I want to say. Is it, or somewhere in Daytona? Margaret, if you're here, okay, well, she was here so fast, she just wanted to say hi, and that was it. So thank you for calling in, Margaret. All right, there you have it. Why don't we get some more people here? We have a lot of people. Okay, she's calling back. Let's see if we have her now. Margaret, thank you for calling in. The 6 years into the sun celebration here tonight with Jim Fetxer and myself. Thank you for calling.
You're very welcome. Congratulations on 6 years. I've been up and down the roller coaster ride with you. My greatest memory was also the memory that you had me worried so much. It was your Route 66 adventures.
Oh gosh.
I was, when you were on the side of the road playing the guitar, I knew how you felt, and, my heart went out to you, and I'm so glad that everything worked out okay, and you're here with us for another 6 years.
Let me tell you, Jim, you remember that the reason I was playing on guitar on the side of the road because nobody was stopping to help me. I didn't know what to do. I was 20 miles out from anywhere, walking wise. And by hour 8, I said, this is getting real scary. It's not cute anymore. I'm getting delirious, you might recall. I saw dancing coyotes at one point, but yeah, that was is pretty close to the the red line as you can get. I would say that and what happened 5 years ago at that burning hotel were very close calls.
That was another memory.
Jim, how am I still alive, Jim? That's another thing I'm trying to figure out.
You're a survivor, Dean. You've been doing great, and we love it.
Thank you. It's reassurance. Margaret, and just it's so lovely to having you here and as one of our members. Thank you for, reminding me of how far we've all come. I've come especially, but we hope to have you for a dozen more years as we try to. I'll do this as long as I can, as long as I'm allowed to, I guess I should say.
Well, so far, so good. We're all together, and I invite everybody watching to become a night owl. You would not believe the support you get and the special shows that go on. So, Dean's a really great guy. So become a night owl.
Yes. We're the rivals of the early birds. That's how nightly we are, right, Jim? Thank you, Margaret. Thank you so much for being here. And if you are a member, speaking of which, we will be having a very special after show, and Margaret will be there. I'll see you in a little bit, Margaret. Okay, there. Thank you for calling in. If you want to call in, we were just on a little longer. Jim, when you think about some of the most memorable moments, whether great danger, stoic, or just complete lunacy, I truly say this, I can't think of another show out there that has experienced all shades of the spectrum of life that we have here. What do you think it is that is very unique about what we do and unique about this audience, really, around the world?
Well, it's a couple of factors, Dean. One is that you're a very creative guy. I've been impressed show after show. Your designs, your images, your thoughtfulness, your creativity is phenomenal. And we're unbounded. We don't restrain ourselves, we don't censor ourselves. We tackle the issues that we think are most important and give us our unhesitating analysis of what we see to be the truth about them, which turns out to be astonishingly rare in this day and age of controlled media and fake news.
That's very true, and I would say that working with you, Jim, now for 10 years, I want to say a little bit more than that, is true inspiration. So you've really led the way. And here's we have someone here. We have all the way on Rumble. We have Alj Mahat, who said, "I'm new to your channel. I loved when you did the Cooking with Dean show." Yeah. I love to cook. I don't, it seems to be when I've done the shows, I'm not familiar with the environment I'm cooking, Jim, and I've nearly sliced my finger off a multitude of times, but it really, you learn some things there. And in fact, the plan is when I do go to Wisconsin, you're going to see Jim can cook in those shows. I mean, he makes superb barbecue ribs. We have some Wisconsin beer. You're going to see some true cooking later this year at some point.
Dean, by coincidence, I was at Sugar River Pizza today, and I had a half ricotta and a half, kicking horse jalapeno pizza, Dean. And of course, the show that maybe evoked the greatest response of all time had something to do with a pink hammer.
The pink hammer. That's a good point. I'm glad you brought up the pink hammer. If you don't know about the pink hammer, and you are quite new to the show, Jim, I wouldn't even know how to explain this. All I can tell you, just go to our archives, and you could just do the your investigation from there. But let's just say, Mr. Pelosi will never be the same. He'll never be the same. Nor anyone who was there that night when Jim did that. And by the way, when I do come back fully, you can get the new memorabilia with Jim on the Route 66 USA stamp. Get the FETS 50, as we are also celebrating a 100-year commensurary anniversary of Route 66, the route that got me back home safely to where I am now, the Golden State from Texas. So we are celebrating 100 years of Route 66. These are one of the designs original that you'll see once we're fully back. I can't wait for that one, which I will send Jim the mug for that. Here's a few more comments. Thank you for that. Here's some people all over the place, Jim. We have the Davinator, who is on Chuck Norris Watch 2026. He says, medical emergency was Chuck responded to was a lack of medical professionals. Okay. I did not know that. Thank you very much, Dave. Dave is a real sleuth and a real gumshoes. We have Rebel Moment with a bit more here. She said the following: the debate was awesome. I love the roundtables and Cooking with Dean. I'm biased, but when Sativa scared Dean, okay. Well, let me address that too. The debate with you and Richard Gere was not Richard. Richard, what's Richard's last name? Your debate with Richard.
Richard Gage?
Yes, not Richard Gere. Although I'd love to see you debate him as well. But Richard Gage, a lot of people love that debate. We should probably do a part 2 to that, maybe down the road this year. That's something we could potentially set up. Richard's a good sport. He's a lot of fun. And seeing him and Jim together, like I said, is like watching Jimmy Connors and John McEnroe play, a little bit of old tennis game together. That's a lot of fun for everybody. Assuming Jim's Jimmy Connors. Is that correct? Okay. Or John McEnroe. Thank you for that. That was wonderful. Here's some more people. We have Lena Star Moon, who is crying and laughing at the same time. That's the Munchkin. There you have it. And in case you missed it too, this was created by the Munchkin himself. Jim's intro. I got to see it one more time. You're right, Jim. That wasn't a 380 PPK.
Very nice.
Definitely
Very
not.
nice, Dean.
Okay,
I
and we
send
thank
my
Angie
love
for
to the
that.
Munchkin for that wonderful piece.
Absolutely. Okay. Yes, and in case you don't know, we were watching with members. We were watching the Erica Kirk eulogy, the first one she did in all white. We were backstage watching that, and I swear to you, Jim, this is true. I heard a cat go, "Wow!" like a cat on a hot tin roof, and I said, "What is wrong with this Erica woman? It's bad enough she's so disingenuous, but to have her cat on set doing the eulogy for the apparent dead husband, what an ignorant B word." Only to find out it was Marnie, Rebel Mama's cat, in her background. So that's what she's referring to. It was real. It was like I was there. Okay, here's another one here. Here's Maddie. Thank you, Maddie, for being here. She said the following: "What would Jim do?" Was awesome, and Anna Toledo gave the. Oh God, yeah, that will be a commercial. The
game,
yeah.
Dean. Yeah.
Oh no, that's what I meant. It was New Year's Eve. It was probably one of the best "What Would Jim Do" games we've done, and Anna Toledo's answer, I believe, on question 2 was priceless.
Yeah,
That's going down.
That was a wonderful show.
Oh, it was for me as well. Okay, we have so many people calling in or commenting. And yes, a big thank you to Seth Black, who did help me in disregard the Morse code in the background. But if it wasn't for Seth, I would still have been stuck in that desert, which I think I was left there purposely by someone who I won't mention. But it was Seth Black saved my life. He got involved and got the roadside assistance to save me in New Mexico. So I thank you for that, Seth, and I really appreciate you more than you know.
Well done. Much appreciated.
Yes. Well, Jim, I was turning into well done. I was medium rare, and the longer I went, it was becoming more well done, as you remember. Here we have Deborah DeMoss over there on Facebook. Hello, everyone on the travel page. She says, happy anniversary to you, Dean, and Jim, and happy many more to come. And I think it says, to me, it says a lot that, over the course of, especially the early years, we had an opening, I should say, a revolving door of people, working here and what have you. I was really laissez-faire back then, a real novice in a way. But I think it says a lot that I'm still with the same person I started this with today, 6 years ago, and that's Jim Fetxer. So I think, to me, that's the most symbolic thing that stands out, no matter what others may say or think. Okay, and yes, the Route 66 trip will be it will go down in infamy. I still think about that. Okay, here's another one. One more. And this is for you, Jim. Is you bring global news with a humanitarian twist. It hasn't changed all this time. Thank you very much. You are a humanitarian, Jim.
Much appreciated. She said humorous twist, but yes, I appreciate.
What's that? Oh, okay. Excuse me.
The humorous, yeah.
I got.
Which I appreciate greatly.
Thank you. We learn something new every show.
I like it.
Yes, and Nigel says, don't forget the leaf blowers. I thought that said lesbians. Don't forget the lesbians. Yes, and the leaf blowers. Thank you, Nigel Dyer. We haven't forgot you. Okay, here's another one. We have Mr. The one Peagle says the following: ask Jim about Tom from Florida situation. Jim, I don't know what that is. You can speak on that if you wish.
Always a regular caller to the show who's called 100 times and said the same thing every call.
Okay. Oh, here's oh my, Sugar River Pizza. Yeah, that's coming back in the rotation. When I go to Wisconsin too, I hope Jim takes me there. I've been hearing about this place for a long, long time.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, Paul Pelosi's Pink Hammer. That's how far back I am. Let me scroll up here. Yes, Richard Gere. Can you believe it? Did I ever tell you my Richard Gere story, Jim? Did I ever tell you? I have a
Go right
friend.
ahead. Lay on.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you two stories, Jim, real quick. Well, the first one is, well, maybe I'll tell the other one for the members. But the first, the Richard Gere story goes. I have a friend named William. Yeah, McNamara. You know him. He's a wonderful actor. He was in the movie Copycat and some other ones you might know of. He auditioned for the film Officer and a Gentleman, if you recall that from what was it, the late '80s. And he went to audition for it at the director's home, and he did a phenomenal job. Yeah, sadly, unfortunately, the director, let's just say William passed the audition to get the character, to get the role, but he didn't pass the audition, which required him having relations with the director. Now, as he's leaving the director's home, speaking of this, Richard Gere is walking into the household to audition for the same part. Let's just say, as history tells us, Richard Gere got the part, and not my friend William. How do you like that, Jim? How do you like the odds of that happening?
Grim.
I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that much. Okay. We have Miss Beth. She says, I admire your anger, Dean. Whenever the show would get messed with, I love the games we all play together and had a lot of fun. Yes. We used to do a lot more game shows. Hopefully that comes back. And here's Sheila Thompson. She said the following, Dean, thank you for everything you have done and the truth brought to us all over the years, last 6 years. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you for everyone who still remembers me and Jim and all the hard work we put in here for all of you. It feels like sometimes, you're doing it and it's like you're in Plato's cave, but other times it's very comforting knowing we see the same names and familiar names each and every night. And it makes it all worthwhile. And I wouldn't want to be performing or showcasing for anyone else in the world than here. In my anger, I'm trying to. Hopefully, I've squashed that, and it's been better over the course of time. So there's that one. Okay, and finally, okay. Jim is. I'm not going to say that one. Okay, so. The first time I saw Dean was exposing female camps in 2018. I think you mean FEMA camps. The female camps was I got to remember that. That was a long time ago. Thank you, Tim, for being here. And looking forward. Okay, Jim, we're going to put it all into perspective here. I'm going to give you the final thought here before I give mine. Jim Fetxer, final thought on the 6-year anniversary show as we sunset this incredible night of festivities. Jim Fetxer.
Well, Dean, my friend, you have a charismatic personality. You have a manner and style that is unique to you. We love it. We love you. And I'm just very, very happy and proud to be a part of these shows. You do so well.
Well, that is very enduring, especially after my Richard Gere story. Thank you, Jim. Final thought here. I really anticipate to come back full throttle with all the special effects and all the bells and whistles that you're used to. What you've seen the past couple of weeks right here in Studio B is kind of the unplugged version of me and us. And a lot of people, wouldn't settle for that and probably, want other things or someone else. But I think that I'm as strong as the people who watch us each and every night. And to me, that's a testament that not a lot of other shows or people who do this can say. And so it makes it all worthwhile. And especially when you get to share the stage with Jim Fetxer, as I have for well over 6 years now, but these past 6 have really been incredible. And I think we've saved a lot of lives. We've saved a lot of people from suicide. People have seen the emails and messages we've gotten over time. it really it fills your heart and makes it heavy, and again makes everything worthwhile. So to me, that's how success is measured, especially in an era of censorship, shadow banning, and persecution in this case of what's happening to people like Tucker. So I wanted to say that. So thank you for 6 years. Thank you, Jim, for being here for 6 years and being here tonight. Thank you to Neil and some other folks who couldn't make it due to illness. Yes, thank you to all of you. But thank you to this incredible audience who are all over the world. And that's something to be said. Okay, we're going to get out of here. I will be back very, very soon. We're going to get everything back together. You can follow Jim at Revolution Radio 8 days a week. And what can I say, Jim? It is an emotional experience sometimes. And I'm probably crying now, but I'm sweating so badly. You can't tell. You really can't tell.
It's a team effort, Dean, and I'm really glad we're doing this together.
Absolutely, couldn't say it better myself. Okay, and well, for Neil Bishop, for Jim Fetxer, and for the rest of us here at Real Deal Media, I'm Dean Ryan, telling everyone thank you for 6 incredible years, and here's to more. And thank you for sticking by us and by me. Until next time, always remember to stay tuned and stay awake. Good night. Good night, everybody, wherever you are.